They went to do a little memorial for him at the Moose Lodge. Charlie said, "Oh, I'll play." And I got there, and probably a lot of people in this room were there because Charlie brings his own crowd. A lot of people didn't know who Daryl Stevens were. All they knew was Charlie was playing. And so they all show up. And so Charlie, I would imagine to be in this band, you'd be afraid to answer your phone when Charlie was calling you because you knew it was a free gig somewhere that you were doing for a benefit and not getting paid for. But that's the way Charlie was. He gave and gave and gave to our community, and we're going to miss him. Thank you.
Well, hello, my name is Everett. I'm Nita's nephew, and had the pleasure of knowing Charlie for quite some time. He was married to my aunt, and just wanted to kind of really say to everybody that I'm sure everybody knew Charlie. He was a blessing to be around, but just from a personal sense that as I got to know Charlie, he was I got to really admit, he was a man of good moral fiber. He was a wonderful man to be around, and exemplified that in his life and how he treated the people that he knew in his family. I don't know, I miss him. I have a lot of respect for him as a man. How he treated my family. He became a part of our family, and as I guess in a way he's become part of a sense of family here with all of you. And I just really wanted to express that it was a privilege to know him. It was tough to watch him fight for his life, but it was also an example, I believe, of how to fight for life together. I did have the pleasure of having him. And hopefully we all face our own fights in our future, and hopefully we can face them with the type of dignity, grace, and bravery that he faced his. Thank you.
The next gentleman is Derek. That's Anita's son. And Chuck. Charlie Connors is his son. This looks like Charlie Connors.
I'm Derek. This is Chuck. Oddly enough, I found out when Chuck was checking out some of Charlie's hats that he has the exact same head size as his dad, so I think he might be inheriting some hats. But when I first met Charlie, it's always weird meeting someone that your mom is dating, and, it's kind of an awkward meeting, but the thing I really appreciated him the most was his heart. He literally was a very good husband to my mom. He loved her, he listened to her, he was there for her, he was supportive. And I remember when he was getting ready to marry my mom, he asked my permission. Of course, I said yes, because he made my mom happy. And I saw a man who really spent a lot of time taking care of my grandma and my mom. And I really appreciated him for that. And when I got married, I had the privilege of having Charlie in our wedding party. And I really didn't consider him a stepdad. He was really in my family. And there's more members of my family now. This is Chuck, so come on up, Chuck.
Nice. Hello. I honestly have no idea what to say. I know there was a period of time growing up that my dad wasn't around because of just circumstance, mainly my mom, and because she's crazy. And it's actually funny how he and I got in contact with each other again. I think I was 2 when my parents got divorced. And I found out many, many years later, I was 14 or 15 or some age where I did a lot of stupid things that I shouldn't have done, that he had been searching. I'm talking hired private detective and gone that route, and they never could actually track us down because my mom went, let's go over here, let's go over here. But I actually ran into my grandmother on my dad's side at a craft show. And, well, needless to say, we got into contact with each other again. And I'll be honest with you, I'm rambling because I don't know what to say. I will say that I'm very happy that every one of you are here and that my dad had you, and that so many people cared about him. And I'll be lucky, excuse me, I will be lucky, and I think anybody would be lucky to have so many people actually that, you know, they touched their lives so much that they are here like this, and I want to thank you so much for coming out. Paul, thank you for putting this together, and I feel like I'm rambling. I will say this, most of you, like I said, know my dad probably better than I did. I didn't get enough time with him, by no fault of his own. But a little story, a very short story, and then I'll shut up. I just thought about this not, 2 minutes ago, and I called my aunt to find out the name of who it was. My dad used to do a lot of DJing for country stations, and I know back in the early 80s, at least, he used to cover remotely things for the station he worked for, and he was covering, I think it was the Grand Ole Opry. And my grandmother was a big fan of several people, and he actually had Bill Anderson call my grandmother at home. I thought it was someone else, I just found out it was Bill Anderson, where she immediately almost fainted. And I think it's just, that's one small testament of the type of person he was, just to do even the smallest thing for somebody. And I'm going to quit before I start crying like a little girl. And I want to say thank you, and thank you, and thank everybody. And I'm going to go sit down now. Thank you.